So I guess we all know that Shayna Baszler is set to take on Becky Lynch at WrestleMania Treasure Island in April, right? I mean, she got a really good showing in the Rumble. She bit Becky Lynch on the back of the neck and has had stare downs and scraps with her on Raw for the past few weeks. I bloody wonder who is going to win the Elimination Chamber match this Sunday then. I bloody wonder. Bloody. Biting. The gimmick. It's all there, the signs. Well, Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter doesn't seem to think that the cage fighter is as locked in for victory as we all think this weekend. It said if Baszler doesn't win, that wouldn't bode well for her, since it would make it twice that Vince McMahon would have changed his mind on her. Baszler was the original pick to win the Rumble, only to have McMahon a week out change plans to Charlotte Flair and have Baszler win the Chamber. But there was negativity and uncertainty regarding McMahon's reaction to Baszler's match with Kairi Sane on Raw not getting the desired reaction, and Baszler not coming off like a WrestleMania headliner. So that is kind of an interesting new wrinkle to all of this story, because the switch to Charlotte disappointed a lot of fans, but all the backstage rumbling said that she'd been promised the world by WWE, and they hadn't exactly delivered that recently, so the Rumble win was sort of making good on all those botched promises, and everyone watching. But yeah, Baszler versus Sane from Raw this week wasn't exactly a WrestleMania quality match, but that is not really a reason to not consider her a headline act on Raw, because to be honest, Becky Lynch, whose new version of the Man character appears to be man who lives at home and is a troll, hasn't exactly had amazing matches of late either. I mean, the last truly great one I remember is the Hell in a Cell against Sasha Banks, which obviously is easily lost in the old memory considering what happened at the end of that pay-per-view. Oh, not again. Not again. So if Vince has soured on yet another person because of one slightly shaky match, that is not good for Baszler's main roster career in WWE, but it is also not good for the Raw women's division, because who else is there? Becky has handily beaten basically every single woman on the roster in a storyline that is now frankly pretty stale. She's really good at wrestling, she keeps winning, she's a badass, there is absolutely no character evolution in there whatsoever, and it's been a year. And so that begs the question, what will they do if Baszler isn't going to be the one to unseat the man? Well, maybe they've got more than one horsewoman in this race. Because Ronda Rousey was recently spotted at WWE headquarters by none other than Cain Velasquez. He tweeted, "Had the pleasure of running into the pioneer that definitely also inspired my interest in the sport. Great to see you, Ronda Rousey, at WWE." Cain has been out of a knee injury while Ronda left WWE after WrestleMania last year to start a family with her husband Travis Brown. Now, from WWE's perspective though, they'd clearly like to have both back on TV as soon as possible, as they've been in talks with ESPN Plus about moving their pay-per-views to that streaming platform, and surely cross-sport star crossover stars is exactly the sort of thing that might sweeten that deal. There was an extra star in there, but we won't take it out. Meanwhile, elsewhere in WWE's pantheon of female performers, Paige has not exactly been having a great time of it recently, as boyfriend Ronnie Radke yesterday revealed that she'd been rushed to have emergency surgery to remove an ovarian cyst. Now, this kind of surgery can take several weeks to recover from, so it may be some time before she is able to appear on WWE Backstage again, but thankfully, everything went well, and Paige posted an update saying, "Just an update. Told you it was an update. I'm fine, you guys. No more pain and healthy AF. Haha, just another small speed bump. I'm used to it. Haha." So thankful for Ronnie Radke. Right, before we crack on, we just need to thank Justin Could You Be Any Better Than Matthew Perry for their support on Patreon. Thanks very much. Let's talk about dates now, because we do them the other way round over here in the UK than they do them over there in America. So while Raw in 2 weeks' time in America will air on the 16th of March, i.e. 316, over here we would call that the middle of the f***ing night. But to WWE, 316 is like May the 4th to Star Wars fans, a time of celebration, a time to make Steve Austin come into work. Because the Texas Rattlesnake has, funnily enough, been announced for that Monday episode of the show in honor of hashtag 316 Day, which I guess is actually quite special when you think about it, because it at least needs to fall on a day that the show is happening, so it feels like it's more of a leap year thing and doesn't happen all the time. That's quite nice. He tweeted, "Austin 316 says I will be live on Monday Night Raw on 316. 316. Oh hell yeah, hashtag 316 days. In honor of the event, WWE will be hosting custom content on their digital platforms, but also selling exclusive Austin 316 merch on WWE Shop and a special Topps Austin digital card set, because on 316 day, you have to think about your bottom line because Stone Cold has bills to pay. Maybe he's building an extension. And there's no word yet on what Austin will be doing when he shows up to Raw, but WWE's press release said stunners will be in store, mud holes will be stomped, and hells will be yared. And things that aren't quite beer will be sort of drizzled down the front of people. Now, some people who may not be enjoying 316 Day or many of their remaining dates with WWE are the Revival, because as noted before, the tag team were pulled from the Elimination Chamber match this Sunday and replaced with the Lucha House Party, which has essentially taken them off TV for now. And that is definitely a slight, though I'm slightly aggrieved that no one's saying that all the guys pulled from that singles men Elimination Chamber match that was meant to be happening have been slighted. Poor Robert Roode, think about him. Oh no, wait, he's in the... Forget it. Forget I said anything. So it seems like WWE are keen to keep the Revival out of sight and out of mind until they leave the company next month when their contracts expire. Now, Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE and the Revival are battling for intellectual property rights since it appears the Revival is leaving next month, with AEW looking to be the likely destination. Now, WWE has filed for trademarks on the terms The Mechanics, which was the name they used before the Revival, and the term No Flips, just fists. The team was trying to get a trademark for that latter term. And there could be even more trademarks set to be part of this legal tussle, as the Revival have also tried to trademark FTRKO, Top Guys, Say Yeah, and Shatter Machine 2. So if WWE does win that great trademark war, then expect the Resurgence or something similar to appear on AEW, and they can be billed as peak men and use the smashy apparatus as a finisher. I used a thesaurus for this bit. Someone else who is seemingly on his way to AEW is Matthew Hardy, a fact which many fans took as wonderful news. I can't do a Matt Hardy impression. So quick recap, March 1st, Matt's WWE contract expires. A day later, he puts out a video saying that he's not re-signed with the company, and that's just as AEW start teasing the Exalted One big styly. Then on Free the Elite this week, the Bucks turn up at the Hardy compound. Then he didn't appear on AEW Dynamite, and a lot of people were like, excuse me, where's Matt now? Except Ollie and Luke, who are obviously like, AEW is the best thing I've ever seen, and Death Triangle is totally an awesome, really cool name and not really stupid, because they're marks. But this big over AEW Matt Hardy tease set off whispers within the wrestling media as people wondered what WWE's response to it would be, especially as Matt was booked to appear at the Big Event 18 convention in New York alongside a bunch of WWE talent like Braun Strowman. Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio said Matt was booked on the convention and some WWE guys were booked as well, and the convention guys were basically told you cannot book anyone from AEW. That's one of the rules now. If you book a WWE guy anywhere, nobody from AEW is allowed. That's just their rule. So the agreement was nobody from AEW. I just think WWE found out. Everyone knew he was going to AEW, but if he didn't show up on Wednesday and he wasn't already in AEW, maybe they'd let it go. So on Tuesday, I pretty much heard he's not going to be on TV. Then I found out Terry Funk is replacing him on that convention. So I guessed they must have pushed the idea, even if he's not on TV, he's an AEW guy and he can't come. So this makes it seem like a whole thing that Dave's onto here, but then other sites started to confirm different news, because PW Insider said they confirmed Matt's booking for the big event last week, but he was never added to the big event website. Whereas Brian Alvarez reported on Wrestling Observer Live yesterday that Matt was pulled from the big event website because of AEW, but that is not the case, as he was never actually listed on the official big event website. Convention vendor RF Video also confirmed early yesterday morning that Matt is still scheduled for the big event, and while Wrestling Observer Radio stated that Matt was replaced by WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk, Funk was scheduled the entire time, as was Hardy. So it does appear that a lot of the drama around Matt and AEW has been inflated because the event didn't update its website properly. But it does make you wonder whether there's any truth to what Meltzer is saying about WWE not wanting their talent to appear on the same conventions as AEW stars, because this was certainly the case when All Elite started, so would it still be the case now? Now you have to think that someone like Matt Hardy would still have a good relationship with WWE, and they probably wouldn't mind him appearing on an event because he kind of is synonymous with his WWE run at this point. point. Not only that, but he did the job that was asked of him on the way out, i.e. taking a bunch of concertos from Randy Orton to put him over, and he's never publicly badmouthed them and just sort of left quietly. But it also makes you wonder if that's why Matt didn't show up on AEW Dynamite this week, because he didn't want to drop this booking and let people down, and then next week, he's freed up for the big appearance on AEW Dynamite. Have to wait and see. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave us a like, drop a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you want even more wrestling content, head on over to Parts Unknown, the new home of Adam Blompier's booking videos and our wrestling D&D style role-playing game No Rolls Barred, a new episode of which is going out on Sunday, and it is legitimately crazy. I've been El Fakador, and that was Lucha.